The name Domaine de la Romanée-Conti evokes wines of greatness of one of the most sought-after, highly desirable wines from Burgundy. Domaine de la Romanée-Conti is very typical of many small domains in Burgundy, where the history goes back hundreds of years to where the times when the monks and the nuns of Burgundy, historical spiritual home of a lot of different Christian missions, established themselves and created vineyards. And Romanée-Conti is a tiny little vineyard that only makes 500 cases of wine a year. And what makes it great, in the beginning, you see a little bit of its distinguished character, but it really is a wine that hides in some of the shadows and surfaces only after 15 to 20 years of age. Very rare for a top red Burgundy, but a wine that is a must-have for all collectors and wine lovers in the world.
Last time, we took sommelier Terence Wong out of his comfort zone to share his tips on how to navigate a wine list that's not his own. Today, I brought sommelier Sebastian Alano to a restaurant that's not his own to look at their wine list. What are his tips on selecting and navigating a wine list? Let's find out.
Sebastian Alano, thank you for joining me on this program today.
Pleasure.
And you've been here in Hong Kong for now about 10 years. So how has the market here evolved in the last 10 years for you?
First of all, I don't feel like it was 10 years. It's been so fast. But I mean, wine obviously changed a lot, as you mentioned, in a way that you've got more interaction with more customers who definitely get into wine. We can get as much as we can provide in terms of exchange, so this is very interesting.
So we're in a restaurant with an amazing wine list of over 3,600 references. What are your tips for, wine selection or approaching a wine list of this caliber with 3,600 references?
So first of all, when I see that coming, I'm telling myself two things. It's first, you have a very good sommelier behind that, who know what he's doing. So
Gentlemen, this is a very serious tasting. We have some of the best wines from Napa and the best wines from Bordeaux. And you helped me all choose and nominate these wines, so I'm assuming you're probably pretty familiar with them. So these are wines from 1989 to 1999, and we chose and nominated 8 great wines from Napa and 8 of the best from Bordeaux. In every flight of 4 wines, we're going to have 2 from Bordeaux and 2 from Napa.
Regarding for tonight tasting, so I expect all the Bordeaux wine, the Petrus, and the Obion will be much more elegant, smooth, and all the Napa Valley wine I expect is much more like stronger.
I do extend my wine coverage to New World, including Napa. Yeah, and I find some Napa wines very exciting. And in general, my impression is for the Napa Valley line, they are more homogeneous compared with the old world wine. Maybe because of the weather, in the California, you have more stable weather compared with Bordeaux or Burgundy.
The second flight had so many really outstanding wines. Kevin, for you, were there any that stood out as particularly fantastic?
I really felt, the 5, 6, and 7 were just
That's 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 were just fantastic.
Okay.
Right off the bat. It just blew me away.
Michael, was there any wines in this flight that was disappointing for you?
I don't favor the number 6 style, the nose, the oak and the ripeness is just too much for me.
I think this one we all agreed was from Napa.
Yeah,
because
no doubt about it.
Even from the nose was very sweet, so that's not your favorite. Paolo, was it easier than the first flight?
Well, stylistically, I think 5 and 8 for me are quite different from 6 and 7. So for me, 6 and 7 are probably the New World wines.
Well, they're all great wine, but I prefer number 5. It's got everything, very well balanced. My personal, I prefer number 5. I think it's from Bordeaux.
I love number 5 so much.
Yes.
to me is the textbook wine, everything there.
Yeah. So third flight.
The Napa wines are going to be more similar, I think, stylistically. And perhaps, because I have probably overall more experience in Bordeaux than Napa, I think I will hopefully do a better job in the Bordeaux wines. And I'll be happy if I get a couple of the California wines correct.
I discovered Napa wines when visiting the region with some friends that live in San Francisco. Obviously Napa itself has a great reputation, but I think the visiting the region had opened my eyes massively in terms of the different vineyard, the weather, climate, the age of the vines, all these complexities that are all these environmental nuances that are around Napa are so different to that of Bordeaux.
Both categories of wine were amazing. It's not really about the competition as to who is better than who. It's about how they evolved over time.
Edward, third flight. What's your impression of these 4 wines?
They are all great wine. But of course, 12 is standing out.
Kevin, did one wine stand out like they did for Edward?
In terms of my personal preference and palate, I think 10 and 12 stood out for me because they were really well balanced, and they had a lot of fruit, a lot of leather and game, especially for number 10.
Michael, any wines that were disappointing in this flight?
Well, I think maybe not disappointing, but just 12 and 10 was so superior. I just find when you put such balanced wines in competition with such ripe vines, the ripe just overshadows the balance, and the balance is so good on these wines that you've selected for this flight.
My personal, I prefer 10 a little bit more. I just like more notes. They're both great, but but I like the 10 a little bit more because of the notes.
10 and 12 stand out a little bit. 10 is I guess more of a controversial wine. It's got a little bit of bready taste. This is the wine that gives that sort of flavor. Overall, I think this is very high caliber, and I enjoy them all.
Great. Thank you for joining me on In Vino Veritas. This is season 3 already.
Yay! Thank you for having us.
So you'll notice that we have an afternoon tea set, which, we ladies have probably pretty often with friends. I just wanted to kind of, show you by experience that if you ever choose to have a wine with afternoon tea, and then it leads on to maybe a dinner and you continue eating and drinking, that you can have something that's light and also flavorful. And the first thing that we have here, of course, is champagne. And I find champagne quite light and elegant and easy to drink almost any time.
This one smells fruity. And if you're day drinking, I feel like champagne is the drink that you would drink if you're drinking during the day.
Yeah.
It seems light enough. And
Anyway, cheers. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to the food too. So here you go. What would you like to try, Eliza?
I would like to try something sweet.
Okay. Let me pass you one of these. Here you go.
Ooh, thank you. I'm gonna go for savory.
These are sandwiches, and the other looks like a crab tart. That looks great.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go with savory too. Now, I also chose a sweet wine from Bordeaux. It's a Sauterne, which is why it's a little bit deeper in color and golden. What do you smell, Eliza? Any?
Is it more of like wood?
Yeah, actually, it has been aged in oak for about 2 years, and the lovely color is because of its age as well. And it has this honey notes as well. It smells sweet, doesn't it?
Yes. Woody but sweet at the same time, kind of. And when I smell sweet wines, I don't know if it's the color or I don't know, but it just smells like honey. All of them just smells a little bit like honey to me.
Why don't you also try it, Eliza, with the champagne to see how it tastes?
How is it?
It makes the champagne have a little bit of a bitter taste right at the end. Maybe because the coconut dessert was so sweet that it makes it so that I can't taste the sweetness of the champagne.
And the champagne producer would probably be crying. Saying, I made this and aged it in my cellar for at least 2 years. And harvested the best grapes for you. The champagne goes with everything.
Yeah.
Anything savory. You're right.
I like this pairing because the dessert is really sweet on its own already. And then when I first tried this Sauterne without a dessert before, I found it a little bit too sweet. And then once I have the dessert and then I have the Sauterne, it makes the Sauterne, it still tastes the same, but it's lighter.
Why didn't you choose a red wine to go with afterwards?
Yeah, it's a good question. I could have chosen a light-bodied red, but normally for a tea set, it's either half sweet, you know, the selection is half sweet, or you get savory, but savory food that's not heavy. Who would like to try this mini hamburger? Looks like a one-bite hamburger. Meat sandwich or a hamburger.
With the champagne. I didn't try it with the Sauterne though. I was kind of turned off by the crab sandwich with the Sauterne, so I don't know if I should try the burger with that. But yeah, it was really, I mean, the champagne is really good and it's very refreshing with everything.
I thought so too.
Yeah, and it kind of elevates the taste. Like it turns the food into a different thing, I feel like. If you just taste the food by itself and when you have it with wine, it's kind of a different thing that you're
An
having.
experience, I feel like.
Yeah.
If I normally was just having a burger, it would just be kind of, I wouldn't treat it as I feel like when I have it with champagne, it's more of an occasion.
There is the mood aspect to it as well. Exactly, exactly. But you know, most people would think, champagne with hamburger? That's so odd.
I've never thought of that before.
But this is not a heavy burger because it's very light and small. And actually, my champagne for me is like the go-to wine for everything. It really does. Here, this was really fun.
Thank you.
We learned so much.
Oh, we're toasting with different things.